Have you ever felt like your background doesn't match the leadership role you're stepping into? Like everyone else has the right credentials, but you're coming from somewhere completely different. Maybe you don't have the traditional training. Maybe you look around the room and you wonder, why did they pick me? Well, today I want to introduce you to someone who felt exactly the same way. His name was David, the youngest son, a shepherd boy, not a warrior, and not trained in the palace. Not your obvious choice. Yet God chose him to be king. And today we're going to discover how your unique background isn't a liability, actually your greatest leadership asset. Hey friends, thanks for joining me today on Leading with Bill. I'm Bill Martin, your personal leadership coach, and this is where biblical wisdom can transform your leadership and life. Now let me take you back to 1 Samuel in chapter 16. So the prophet Samuel arrives at Jesse's house with a mission from God: anoint the next king of Israel. So one by one, 7 of Jesse's sons passed by Samuel, each one impressive, each one qualified, each one looking like a king. But God rejects them all. And God tells Samuel something powerful. The Lord does not look at the things people look at. People look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. Samuel asks, "Are these all the sons you have?" Jesse replies, "Well, they're still the youngest, but he's out tending the sheep." So they bring David in from the fields, probably still smelling like sheep. And God says, "This is the one. Anoint him." Shepherd boy, overlooked one, the one nobody expected. Okay, so let's fast forward to 1 Samuel, and in chapter 17, Israel is at war with the Philistines, and a giant named Goliath is taunting God's army. Every trained warrior is terrified. Nobody will fight him. But David, the shepherd boy, he volunteers. This is what I find humorous. King Saul tries to help. He puts his own armor on David: the helmet, the coat of mail, the sword, all the equipment a real warrior should have. But David can't even walk in it. And he says something remarkable: "I cannot go in these because I'm not used to them." So he takes it all off. Instead, he picks up what he knows: shepherd's staff, his sling, and 5 smooth stones from the stream. And he defeats Goliath, not despite being a shepherd, because he was a shepherd. Those years in the fields protecting sheep from lions and bears, that was his training. That sling, that was his weapon. His courage, that was built in solitude when no one was watching. David was being authentically himself. So what does this teach us about leadership and life? I want to share 3 key insights. The first, your background is your foundation. David's years as a shepherd weren't wasted time. They were preparation. Every challenge he faced in the fields, whether protecting the flock or developing his skills, building character when no one was watching, all of it prepared him for the moment he would face Goliath. Your background matters. The experiences you've had that seem unrelated to leadership, they're not. They're shaping you. They're giving you perspective. They're building skills that others don't have. Second, don't wear someone else's armor. Saul's armor represented the expected way to lead. I mean, it worked for Saul, but it didn't for David. And here's what I've observed over the years. Authentic leadership means leading with your strengths, not copying someone else's style. pressure to conform to traditional leadership models can actually make you less effective. When you try to be someone you're not, you lose the very thing that makes you valuable: your unique perspective, your authentic voice, your natural strengths. Third, God looks at the heart. This, the foundation of everything. Leadership isn't about credentials or appearance. It's about character, courage, and faithfulness. Heart, your values, your integrity, your purpose matters more than your resume. God didn't choose David because he looked like a king. He chose him because of his heart. So how do we apply this? I want to give you a simple 3-step framework. Let's call it authentic leadership. So step 1, identify your shepherd skills. Ask yourself these questions. What unique experiences have shaped you? What challenges have you overcome that others haven't? And what skills did you develop in the fields that others might overlook? Maybe you worked retail before moving into management. You understand customer frustration in ways others don't. Maybe you were a teacher and you know how to develop people. Maybe you started in the mailroom and you understand every level of the organization. Those aren't weaknesses. Those are your shepherd skills. That's your foundation. Step 2 is recognize the armor that doesn't fit. So now ask yourself, what leadership expectations feel unnatural to me? Am I trying to lead like someone else instead of being myself? What shoulds am I carrying that aren't serving me? Maybe everyone says leaders should be extroverted and commanding, but you're naturally thoughtful and collaborative. That's not a weakness. That's your style. Maybe you've been told leaders need to have all the answers, but you're someone who asks great questions and empowers your teams to solve problems. Well, that's not inadequacy. That's your strength. Identify the armor that doesn't fit. Give yourself permission to remove it. And step 3, lead with your slings and stones. So finally, ask, what are my natural strengths and tools? How can I leverage my unique background to solve problems differently? Where can I bring a fresh perspective because I didn't come up the traditional way? Your unconventional path is an advantage. Your different perspective is what makes you valuable. Don't hide it. Lead with it. Use your slings and stones. All right, here's your challenge for this week. I want you to do 2 things. First, write down 3 shepherd skills, 3 experiences or strengths from your background that make you different from other leaders around you. Really think about this. What have you learned that others haven't? And then second, identify 1 piece of armor that you need to take off. One way that you've been trying to lead like someone else instead of being your authentic self. Write it down, then commit to leading from your strengths instead. This isn't just an exercise, but this is about discovering who you really are as a leader and giving yourself permission to lead authentically. Here's what I want you to remember. David didn't become a great leader by pretending to be Saul or trying to fit into someone else's expectations. He became a great leader by being fully himself, a shepherd with a heart for God and the courage to face giants with the tools he'd been given. Your background isn't holding you back. It's preparing you. Friends, thanks for joining today on Leading with Bill. Remember, trust in the Lord with all your heart, and we'll see you next time.